CTV News at 6 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. Thank you for being here. Professor turned politician Andrew Weaver tonight is accusing the NDP of trying to push him out of next May's provincial election campaign before it's even underway. Weaver is running in Oak Bay Gordon Head for the Green Party, and he says within hours of making the announcement of his candidacy, an NDP operative suggested that he drop out of the race, saying that he'd be better serving his community and his cause by working within government, possibly as a deputy minister. CTV's Stephen Andrews shows us now the NDP is furious. It says the claim is nothing more than a publicity stunt.
This UVic Nobel laureate turned politician is getting a lot of attention. Not for what he's doing, but for what he says the NDP asked him to do. Andrew Weaver says within 24 hours of announcing his intention to run provincially as the Green candidate in Oak Bay Gordon Head, he got a call from this man, his friend Michael Byers, a New Democrat with federal ties.
Asking me to consider stepping aside because there was concerns within I was told there was concerns within the provincial NDP that I might create a profile for the Green Party.
Weaver ignited a political firestorm after he revealed the conversation on Twitter. He says he did it in reaction to increasing attacks from NDP supporters. He believes the NDP is worried he's running in the constituency and says he even asked his friend Byers for help.
I've said, why don't you get them off my back? I'm not running against the provincial NDP.
But the NDP says Byers is not part of the provincial team and says Weaver needs a thicker skin. The party says he's only talking about the 3-month-old conversation now to garner publicity.
If you're suggesting, Stephen, that he's talking to lots of people in the NDP, I hope he doesn't treat them the same way he treated Michael Byers. I mean, if that's friendship, then I'm grateful that I'm not his friend.
And although Andrew Weaver is upset that he was asked by a friend to step aside in the next provincial election, he did exactly the same thing in the last federal election. In September 2009, Weaver sent this personal email to Liberal candidate Renee Hetherington, asking her to step aside so that Elizabeth May would be elected. Political watchers believe province-wide the NDP has nothing to fear from the Green Party, but star candidates like Weaver in select ridings could pose a threat.
If they choose a few ridings to run into, which they think they can win, and they have a good shot at it, it might be a better way to spend the resources than to run a BC-wide campaign and end up with 0 seats, which has happened before.
But even with their differences, there is one point where the NDP and the Greens agree. It's time to change the subject and start talking about real issues. Stephen Andrews, CTV News, Victoria.